The hiring world you were told about in school, it no longer exists. It didn't just change, it evolved into something completely different. If you're a student, a first-time job seeker, or even a parent trying to guide your kid through the maze of 2026, you've probably noticed the silence. You send out 50 resumes and hear nothing. You see jobs posted that look like they were written by, an alien, and you hear about AI taking over, but then you hear how companies are desperate for talent. So what gives? The truth is, the great reshuffle of the early 20s has landed us here in 2026, where the rules of engagement have been rewritten. We are moving into an era where your degree matters less than the proof of your work, where a bot might be your first interviewer, but human connection is what actually seals the deal. We're talking about the world where jobs are being replaced by skill-based projects. If you don't understand these trends, you aren't behind, but you might be feeling invisible. But if you master these, you become the most hunted talent on the market. Today, we're breaking down the absolute top hiring, recruiting, and staffing trends for 2026. We're going deep into what they mean for you, why they are happening, and how you can use them to restart or jumpstart your career before everyone else even realizes the game has changed. Stay tuned, because by the end of the video, you'll have a roadmap that makes the job hunt feel like a victory lap. Before we dive into the first massive trend, I want to make sure you're equipped for the long haul. Here at Tiggbee, we are obsessed with bridging the gap between where you are now in the classroom or at your first internship and where you want to be. The world is moving fast, and we're here to make sure you're the one leading the pack. If you want more deep dives into the future of work and how to navigate your career path with confidence, go ahead and hit that subscribe button below for the Tiggbee YouTube channel. Join our community of future shapers. Now, let's get on to trend number 1. Trend 1, the death of the resume and the rise of the proof of work portfolio. For decades, the resume was the golden ticket, right? A one-page PDF with some bullet points and a GPA. In 2026, that piece of paper is officially a relic. Recruiters don't want to read what you say you can do, they want to actually see what you've already done. This trend is called proof of work. Why does this matter? Because AI can write a perfect resume in about 4 seconds. Recruiters know this. They know that you're proficient in Microsoft Office. Bullet point is pretty much meaningless. Everyone says it, right? In 2026, companies are looking for evidence. This is especially true for K through 12 students and early career seekers. You might think, I haven't even had a job yet, so what do I show? It means every project you did in a robotics club, every volunteer website you built for a local nonprofit, every TikTok series you edited that gained traction, that is your resume. You are showing proof of work. Real world implication. If you're applying for a marketing role, for example, don't just send a CV. Send a link to a campaign you ran for a school event that shows a 20% increase in attendance. If you're a coder, your GitHub is your resume. If you're in trade skills, a time-lapse video of you repairing an engine or building a structure carries more weight than a certificate. What this actually means is that the barrier to entry has shifted from who you know and where you went to school to what you can actually prove. It levels the playing field for students who might not have the best grades but have the most grit and creativity. Here's an example. Imagine 2 students. Student A has a 4.0 GPA from a top university, but a blank LinkedIn. Student B has a 3.0 from a community college, but a portfolio showing 3 successful freelance graphic design projects and a blog where they analyze, let's say, industry trends. In 2026, student B gets the interview 9 times out of 10. Start building your digital footprint now, not as a social profile, but build it as a professional gallery. Trend 2, skills first hiring. So trend 1 is the death of the resume, but building on that is trend number 2, which is skills first hiring. Many of the world's biggest employers, Google, IBM, Delta Airlines, have officially stripped degree requirements from their job postings. In 2026, this has trickled down to almost every mid-sized company in the country. So why is this happening exactly? Because the shelf life of the technical skills is shrinking. What you learn in your freshman year of college might be obsolete by the time you graduate. I know, which can seem kind of frustrating when you think about it, but companies realize that a 4-year degree is a great sign of persistence, but it doesn't guarantee that you know how to handle the specific software or workflow that they use today. So what does this actually mean for you? You need to become a T-shaped individual. This means having gain a broad base of durable skills like communication, empathy, and adaptability, and 1 or 2 deep skills like Python programming, CAD design, or data visualization. The real-world implication is that micro-credentialing is the new currency. Instead of one big degree, you might have 5 or 6 specialized certifications that you stacked over 2 years. This is a massive win for students who want to enter the workforce early or who find traditional schooling difficult. Here's an example. Let's say you want to work in renewable energy. Instead of waiting 4 years for an engineering degree, you take a 6-month intensive course on solar grid maintenance, get certified in drone-based inspection, and take a communications workshop. You are now more hireable for a specific role in a solar firm than, let's say, a general engineering grad. This trend tells us that learning is no longer a phase of life. It's a constant state of being. If you can show a recruiter that you taught yourself a new skill in the last 3 months, you are signaling that you are future-proof. Trend number 3, the AI-human hybrid interview. Let's talk about the elephant in the room, AI. In 2026, you aren't just competing against AI, you're being interviewed by it. Almost every major staffing agency now uses conversational AI for the first round of screening. This isn't just a chatbot, these are sophisticated tools that analyze your tone, your problem-solving logic, and your cultural ad. It's fast-paced. Instead of waiting weeks for a phone call, you might get an instant interview the second you click apply. Here's why this matters. Most applicants fail here because they try to game the system with keywords. But AI in 2026 is too smart for that. They are looking for authenticity and depth. It wants to see how you handle unstructured questions. So here's the real-world implication. You must practice vocal clarity and structured thinking. When the AI asks, "Tell me about a time you failed," it's not just looking for a story, it's analyzing if you take accountability and how you iterate it. What this actually means is that the first impression has moved to the digital realm. But, and this is a big but, the final decision is more human than ever before. Because the bots handle the boring stuff, checking availability, verifying skills, human recruiters have more time to focus on personality and your values. The trend for 2026 is that soft skills, human skills, have become the hard skills. If a bot can do the technical work, then the human must do the connection work. So here's an example. You might do a 15-minute AI video screening where you answer prompts. The AI flags you as high empath, high logic candidate. When you finally meet the human hiring manager, they don't ask you about your skills, they already know that you have them. They ask you about your dreams, your work ethic, and your hobbies. So be ready for both. Okay, so we're halfway through the biggest shifts of 2026, and I want to just pause for a second. If this feels like a lot to take in, remember, you don't have to do it alone. The reason why we created this Tiggbee YouTube channel is to give you a place to decode these trends in real time. We're constantly interviewing industry leaders and career coaches to give you that inside scoop. If you're finding this breakdown just a bit helpful, then drop a yes in the comments right now and hit that subscribe button. It helps us keep creating high-depth content for you. Okay, so let's get back into it. And we're going to enter the world of fractional work. Trend number 4, fractional roles in the portfolio career. Trend number 4, fractional roles in the portfolio career. Forget the 40-hour work week at one company for 40 years. Let's be serious. That's your grandfather's world, and that worked for them, but the world is totally different now. And honestly, it might be really exciting to kind of think about that you don't have to just be stuck and you can figure out what skills work best for you. In 2026, the biggest trend in staffing is fractional employment. Companies are no longer looking for one person to do 10 things. They're looking for 3 specialized people to do one thing for 10 hours a week each. This is also known as the gig economy 2.0, but it's much more professional. We're talking about fractional project managers, fractional coders, and even fractional executive assistants. So why does this matter? For a first-time job seeker, this is a gold mine. Instead of trying to find the one perfect full-time job, which is competitive and rare, you can aim for 2 to 3 fractional roles. Why this actually matters? You are effectively becoming a business of one. You might work for a startup in New York on Monday and Tuesday, and then a nonprofit in London Wednesday and Thursday. This requires massive self-management and productivity literacy. You have to be able to switch contexts quickly. But the benefit, you diversify your income and your skill set. If one company lays people off, you still have 2 other income streams. Here's an example. A student graduating in 2026 might not look for a junior accountant role. Instead, they provide fractional bookkeeping for 3 different small businesses. They make more money, have more freedom, and learn 3 different ways of operating. This is staffing in the modern age. It's agile, fast, and decentralized. For you, this means starting to think about your services, not your job title. What is one thing you can do for a company that would pay for 10 hours a week? Find that and you'll never be unemployed. Trend 5, culture maintenance over culture fit. In the past, recruiters looked for culture fit. They wanted to know if you were someone they honestly would like to go grab a beer with after work. In 2026, that has been replaced by culture add and the culture maintenance. Companies have realized that culture fit often leads to groupthink and a lack of diversity. Now they are looking for people who bring something new to the table, a different perspective, a different background, or even a different way of problem solving. So why does this matter? This is a huge shift for young people. You don't have to blend in or act corporate to get hired. In fact, your unique background, whether you're from a rural town, an immigrant family, or a self-taught background, this can be your greatest asset. Here's a real-world implication. During the hiring process, you will be tested on your collaborative intelligence. How do you handle a teammate who, let's say, disagrees with you? How do you contribute to a remote team's morale? Staffing agencies in 2026 are using psychometric testing more than ever to measure these traits. They want to know if you are a culture multiplier or a culture drainer. Think about it. Do you fill into people's cups or do you drain it? So what does this actually mean? It's not good enough to just be good at your job. You have to be good for the people you work with. Since more work is remote or hybrid in 2026, the connective tissue of a company, the way people talk to each other on Slack or Discord, is everything. Here's an example. In an interview, instead of just talking about your technical wins, start talking about how you helped a struggling team during a school project. Show that you understand a company is a community and not just a factory. Recruiters in 2026 are looking for high EQ, which is emotional intelligence, because AI can't replicate empathy or replace it. Trend 6, the green and ethical filter. The final massive trend for 2026 is the values filter. For the first time in history, the power has shifted slightly towards the candidate, specifically the Gen Z and Gen Alpha workforce. Here's an explanation on it. In 2026, the job seekers are reverse interviewing companies. They are looking at a company's environmental impact, their stance on social issues, and their transparency. Recruiting is no longer just about the company picking the person, it's about the person picking the mission of the company. Companies are struggling to hire the best young talent because young people refuse to work for an ethical firm. This is forcing these staffing agencies to actually change how they're selling the roles. They don't just talk about competitive salary, they talk about meaningful impact, which is really actually very cool to think about. So here's the real world impact. As a job seeker, you could be looking for B Corp certifications or clear social responsibility reports. But more importantly, you should be able to articulate your values. What this actually means. If you can align your personal why with a company's why, you become an unstoppable candidate. Companies are terrified of quiet quitting, so they want to hire people who actually care about the work. Here's an example. If you're a student interested in fashion, let's say, you don't just apply to a big retailer. You apply to a startup that uses recycled ocean plastic for their thread. In your cover letter or video intro, you explain that your passion for sustainability is why you are the best fit. That alignment is what gets you the yes in 2026. This trend is about integrity recruiting. The companies that are truly winning the talent war in 2026 are the ones that have a soul. And the candidates that are getting the jobs are the ones who aren't afraid to show theirs. So here's a quick recap, the 2026 roadmap. Let's bring it all together. I know it was a lot of information, but the hiring landscape of 2026 is fast, digital, and deeply human all at once. To win, you need to remember these 6 pillars. Number 1, proof of work. Stop building a resume and start building a portfolio. Show, don't tell. Number 2, skills first. Focus on micro credentials and durable skills. Be T-shaped like we talked about. Number 3, AI hybrid. Master the AI screening, but double down on your human personality for the final round. Number 4, fractional roles. Don't be afraid to be a business of one. Use those skills that you've honed in on to create multiple income streams because that equals freedom. Number 5, cultural maintenance. Be a culture add. Think of bringing in your unique perspective and high EQ to the team. Fill someone's cup versus empty it. Number 6, Values filter. Align your mission with the company's mission. Purpose is the new paycheck. The pain point of feeling invisible in a job market is real, but it usually comes from using 2010 tactics in a 2026 world. If you start treating your career as a series of skill acquisitions and project proofs, you won't just find a job, you'll find a career that actually fits who you are. Parents, like me, if you're watching this, encourage your kids to do the things, not just study the things. The doing is what gets them hired. And students, the tools you need are literally at your fingertips. Every project is an opportunity to add to your proof of work. The world of 2026 is intimidating if you're looking at it through a rearview mirror. But when you look through the windshield, it's full of opportunity and hope. You have more ways to prove your value and more ways to work on your own terms than any generation in history. But you do have to stay informed and you do want to stay ahead of the curve. If you found value in this breakdown, I have a small favor to ask. The hiring world is changing for everyone, and the more people who understand these trends, the better our workplaces become. Please hit that like button and share this video with one friend who is stressing out about their future. Because let's be serious, even as a parent, I'm stressing out about my kids' future sometimes. And finally, if you haven't already, click the subscribe button for the Tiggbee YouTube channel. We are building a community of proactive, future-ready individuals who aren't just waiting for the future to happen, that they're creating it. So as we end, tell me, what's the one trend that you're most excited about? Or maybe the one that scares you the most? Let me know in the comments below. We'll be jumping in there to answer your questions and keep the conversation going. And remember, the best way to predict the future is to help build it. So get out there and start building your proof, and we'll see you in the next video.